So something we get asked an awful lot about, and these are the basics, and our hope is it might give you some clarity and confidence to alter the way you charge for your time, but it's how much should a personal trainer charge? Now, firstly, you must grasp that personal training is a service in which you sell time and expertise for money. Usually that time is isolated into this time-restricted appointment, so an hour typically, but often great personal training services spill out of that time allocation and doesn't really fully cover you for that exchange of money for time. Now, this leaves coaches with a choice to either increase the monetary amount charged, so amount per hour, and have grounds really to do that, or to trim the service back to its bare bones, so to make the service less comprehensive, should we say. So, services. This is the number of services you personally offer or curate to fulfill the needs of your clients. It's fairly simple, really. The most fundamental thing here is the basics. As a personal trainer, you're essentially employed to be present, to instruct and guide someone in the execution and application of results-based exercise. That is it. You turn up, you train people, and you leave. Outside of that, you offer nothing besides a time when you'll go through that again. So you'll give them an appointment the week after or whatever it might be. Now, a coach is different. A coach will consider all of the contributing factors to the end goal and the needs of the client in acquiring that end goal. They will then look to fulfill those needs utilizing their own skill set, and where that isn't possible, to gather the relevant people or tools that are needed to fulfill those needs. Now, this gives you your services, the thing that primarily dictates what you can or can't charge. The better the service, the more you can charge for it. Look no further than the hotel industry for a great example of that. Identically graded hotels, so 5-star hotels with almost identical amenities, yet huge variances in the price of rooms. Now, the difference often being the level of service the hotel offers. So the amenities remain the same, but the level of service goes up. Now, from a coaching perspective, how does this look? Remember, the same as with a gym membership. You will generally pay for all the amenities that gym has, but never really utilize them all, and most people don't. You know, you might have access to a pool, a spa, a cafe, showers, but simply use the gym to go in, train and leave. You know, you don't get a cheaper rate because of that. Apply the same principle to your personal training or coaching services. If they need food made for them, can you facilitate or procure that service for them? It might not be you directly doing it, but can you find somebody who does that and maybe collaborate with them or find some way of doing that? Can you organise their grocery lists? Can you support and contact them daily? So that's a basic requisite of most people, is they struggle with adherence. So just contacting them, make sure they're on point every day is great. You just need to understand who you're serving and what they need to fulfill their goals. Remember also that great facilities typically mean you can charge more for the services delivered under that roof. Although your spit and sawdust gym might charge you less rent as a coach, what you can charge is also impacted, and potentially the type of client that's got to be there. High-earning clients with lots of disposable income will more than likely be in facilities with loads of amenities and loads of services, irrespective of whether they use them or not. Next big one is probably level of professionalism, something that's distinctly lacking in our industry. Now, this is your conduct, your punctuality, your attention to detail, and how you present yourself as a person and also a brand. A smart-looking, well-presented coach and coaching business will always be able to command a higher fee than ones that are poorly put together, as will a coach who has a higher level of overall professionalism. It's all about standards. The higher your standards, the more you can probably charge. You don't see scruffy members of staff in luxury facilities. You know, it doesn't happen in luxury hotels. You don't see somebody coming around with their shirt out, whatever it might be. So when looking to spend money online, a shoddy looking website will almost always put you off. It's a good example. Now, that isn't a cue by any means for you at all to go out and spend a fortune on a website. Now, a simple professional looking holding page with a bit about your services or contact form will often suffice. For most of you doing one-to-one coaching, your potential customers are all in the gyms that you're already applying your services in already. You just need to communicate with them. So location and facility. Now, your geographical location will reflect living costs. Now, this is something you really need to understand. What people spend on leisure and things such as personal training will generally always be in sync with housing prices and amenities and the overall cost of living in that area. You might be able to charge more in different areas, but typically your cost of living will almost always go up in sync. So the amount of times coaches have told me that all they need to do is move to a better area, so London's always the one people like, I need to move to London, because you can charge more. But you also, your living costs also go up, and typically in alignment with that. So your quality of life remains the same, as the extra you charge goes almost always on your living costs in most cases. There is a maximal ceiling to serviceable hours, something we need to understand. Despite the thoughts of many, there is in fact a maximum amount of serviceable hours. This essentially means that if you intend providing exceptional service, the most significant dictator of price, you can only replicate that so many times before it gets compromised. So once service level drops, your TripAdvisor rating, so to speak, goes down, resulting in less interest in your service and less willingness to pay what you ask for them. Over time, clients are going to dry up, coaches wonder why they're knocking out 40 very average sessions a week and being busy fools, as I like to put it. Remember, people typically only talk about bad and great experiences, and this is the kind of a TripAdvisor analogy. Mediocrity means referrals, word of mouth will play very little role in getting you busy or making you more money. People will typically only talk about great experiences or very poor experiences. You know, when was the last time you reviewed a very average experience? If it was bad, you review it, and if it's exceptionally good, you also review it. Most coaches will struggle to service at a high level much more than probably around 1,500 sessions a year or around 30 sessions a week. That means to be a six-figure coach, you need to charge between £65 and £70 per session. Qualifications and skills. Not as high on the list as people may expect, and may be surprising that I put it so low down on the list, given that I own a company that educates coaches. Most great coaches have excellent soft skills and communication skills that far outweigh their academia. Try to imagine a football coach with poor communication skills and an inability to understand the needs of his or her players. You get my point? A qualification is only worth something when it increases your applied skills, the ones that will help you serve the needs of your customers. Many coaches acquire qualifications to deal with customers they will never ever have. Fortunately for all of you coaches in the academy, we don't just teach the science or how to train people. We teach valuable communication skills and how to understand your audience or your clientele much better. So in summary, what you can charge as a coach is made up of the services you can offer your clients, your location, and how you've positioned yourself in the market. So many people trying to differentiate in business, but what one-on-one coaches forget is that most of your business is already under the roofs you already ply your trade under. Many of these gyms that people work in have thousands of members. You just need to communicate with them more about who you are and what you can offer them. First steps are to introduce yourself and get to know something about them, the people you serve and what makes them tick. Get out there, say hello to people that frequent your facilities, show them or tell them how you can help and build rapport with them. More than anything, listen to your audience and adjust your services accordingly.